So, so welcome. I am actually very excited for today because I'll be introducing you to a very powerful tool that you can tuck into your back pocket and carry with you everywhere you go. It is the ultimate fuel for your career design journey. So, because my goal is not just to support you in finding a new career, but to help you gradually, subtly, and powerfully transform your life. I want you to see failure in a whole new way. I want you to approach obstacles with determination and a smile on your face rather than dread and apprehension. I want your brain to be hardwired to see beauty, joy, and fun first. This is not to deny pain and hardship, but to change your relationship to them. And the most sustainable way to do this is to go slow, go steady, and to walk with joy. Just create those simple new habits and practices that become as easy as breathing, and they'll work together to create this virtuous cycle. That's why repetition is so powerful. Transformation requires persistence, and persistence is so much easier if it's accompanied by fun. One of my favorite quotes is by Vincent van Gogh. Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. That's why we're starting small. So let's check in. Did you schedule time on your calendar this weekend to work on My Career Design Studio? Did you come up with a plan to reduce distractions? When you finished coming up with your plan and scheduling on your calendar, did you use your celebratory moves? If not, or even if you did, why not? Let's celebrate together. Ready? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Good job. Now, what about your fun failures? I actually find this one to be a little tougher because whenever I screw up, it's like this knee-jerk reaction to just feel stupid or incompetent or whatever other insults I believed most of my life. So sometimes I go back a little retroactively and relive a mistake so that I can give it the little fun failure treatment. In fact, just today, forgot to brush my teeth this morning. Never do that. Mine's all over the place. Totally forgot. And then 15 minutes later, I realized, I'm like, oh my God, why, how did this happen? And then as I was preparing for this, I realized that was an opportunity for me to do my little sad trombone noise. And so I basically thought about that moment when I realized that I had forgotten to brush my teeth. And then I just, inside my head, just went, womp, womp. And it gave me a little smile, and I just came back. So you can do the same thing. So if there's anything that you did that you didn't do your fun failure move on, just, spend 15 seconds thinking about that and then giving it that noise. It just really helps to transform what happened, but it also starts rewiring how you look at your mistakes and starts giving you another pathway that will become more automatic as time goes on. Today, our new year, new career challenge activity is to consume some fuel for the epic journey we're about to undertake. Now, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest in the 70s and 80s. And when we went hiking, we didn't have this fancy pants designer trail mix from Whole Foods. We just would grab a handful of Gorp and away we'd go. If you're not familiar with Gorp, it stands for Good Old Raisins and Peanuts. The simplest kind of trail mix there is. I was reminded of Gorp when I was reading Gabriel Oestergen's book, Rethinking Positive Thinking. This book is based on her research of, you probably guessed it, positive thinking. There have been many best-selling books suggesting that if you think it, you can be it. And this is based on the very real neurological phenomenon that our brains don't really differentiate between what we think about, fantasize about, or worry about. And the same neurochemicals get released, and our heart races, and our breathing gets fast and shallow, and we start to sweat. So people made the assumption that we could use this phenomenon to do things like think and grow rich, or say daily affirmations, and like magic, you're the person you've always dreamed you could become. So if you've tried any of this, like I have, you may have found out that dreaming that you were a millionaire didn't result in $1 million in your bank account. So here's the interesting research that Gabrielle unearthed. If you just imagine a detailed vision about a change you'd like to make, your brain and your body will think that you've already achieved it. Thinks that it's happened. So that means that all the motivation and drive to achieve will evaporate. After all, why be motivated to work towards something that you already have? So Gabrielle tested an alternative to create a visualization. And so that's what I'm going to share with you, because she saw some real positive results. So I've adapted her work, turned it into Gorp, and when we consume it, figuratively of course, we'll feed our drive to keep moving towards our goals. So let's take our handy little bag of Gorp and let's walk through it. So Gorp, just like good old raisins and peanuts, it's an acronym. And basically the G stands for goal. What do you want to do? And since you're here, and since this is a New Year, New Career challenge, I'm assuming that you're here because you want a new job or career. So that's your goal. O stands for outcome. What would happen if you achieved your goal? And this is when you kind of use that creative visualization. So you really think about it in detail. How would your life be different? What would you do? What would things look like, smell like? Use as many senses as you can. And is there music playing in the background? So whatever change you imagine would happen, make that very rich for yourself. And savor it. Let it sink in. So this is where a lot of the positive thinking people and advice stops. And one reason is because it feels really good. When you let it sink in, you're basically, if you've got an active imagination and you don't have a lot of voices distracting you, then you're imagining the best possible outcome for yourself. And that feels really good. And again, if you stop there, then your mind and body will feel that way for a while, and then it'll just kind of dissipate. And so in order to work towards making this happen, Gabrielle suggests that we need to add 2 more steps. So the third step actually is to identify your resistance. What is it inside of yourself that might keep you from doing this? And it's also kind of like your reality check. And so this is just something to think about. What's happened to you in the past when you've tried to make a transformation in your life? Where did you get stuck? What was going on inside of you that kept you from moving forward? So that's step 3, our resistance. And then the 4th is P, plan. So when you hit your resistance, come up with a plan of what you're going to do then. So yesterday, I gave you a reality check and a common resistance to achieving our goals, and that is distractions. Then you created a plan to overcome that by scheduling time on your calendar and thinking through how you'll minimize your distractions while you're working. Today, it's the same exact thing, but this time, you're identifying your own personal resistance or behavior that keeps you from overcoming your challenges. So it's really important to focus on what you can control. What is it in you that has sabotaged you in the past? What's likely to come up for you now? So this isn't something, in the larger environment, some political change that would need to happen. It is the personal stuff. And because that's what we have control over. Now, as far as the plan is concerned, this can be a little tricky. If we could figure out how not to be our own worst enemy, we would probably do that already, right? So if you've got a plan, like as I've been talking, if you're like, oh, okay, yeah, when that happens, I know what I'll do. Great, do that. But if you're struggling, if you can't quite figure out what you would do when your resistance starts to come up, try this. First, think about how your body feels when you're about to sabotage yourself. So just take a moment. Is it something in your stomach? Do your shoulders get a little hunched? Do you get a headache? Do you get antsy? So just take a moment to try to identify the signal that your body's telling you that something's going to happen, something's not quite right. That's your warning bell. So when you get that feeling, I want you to immediately respond to that with your fun failure noise. So give that little womp womp, or actually what I do more than sad trombone is the Homer Simpson dope. But again, whatever, so that just kind of like shifts your mindset, kind of takes you out of that reality of, okay, taking yourself really seriously, I have to do something right now. And so also gives you a chance to kind of shake yourself off. Once you've done that, then I want you to take 3 slow, deep breaths. So what that does is it really stops that stress cycle from getting engaged, because that's very automatic. And once you start going, it's very difficult to stop, but breathing brings you back to your center. Lots of research around this. This is not just like some yoga theory, but it really does help to reduce the cortisol that's getting released in your system, and really shifts your mindset. So once you've taken 3 deep breaths, your mind's going to be a little bit clearer. And then I want you to give yourself some small, manageable goal, some small, manageable milestone. Like, okay, I'm going to work for 5 more minutes, or I'm going to finish this piece of my work. Once you finish that, reward yourself with your celebratory move. So let's do this together. I'll walk you through my process just so you can see it in action, but I also want you to kind of think about it for yourself. So if you can, remember a time when you were working on something and then something started triggering your desire to do something radically different, like eat a lot of chocolate or watch TV. So with me, I start getting antsy, like my feet start jiggling, and I just want to do something radically different right now. And so once I get that and I recognize it, then I give myself a dole. Okay, 3 deep breaths. All right, let's do it. So I first exhale completely, get all the bad stuff out, and then slow and deep inhale. 1, 2, and then slow and deep exhale. 3, and then slow and deep inhale. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then slow and deep exhale. 1, 2, and then slow and deep exhale. 3, and then slow and deep exhale. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then slow and deep exhale. 3, and then slow and deep exhale. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then slow and deep exhale. 3, and then slow and deep exhale. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then slow and deep exhale. 3, and then slow and deep exhale. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 3. And so even just doing that, because, doing this live streaming, it's kind of nerve-wracking for me. So just taking those 3 breaths, like, again, my thinking totally cleared. And I feel calmer, I feel more centered, and now I can say, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get back. I've got 25 minutes on my timer. I've worked for 20 minutes. I'll do another 5, and then I'll give myself a break. So get back on my computer, type, 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 type. Timer goes off. I give myself a woohoo, and then I take a break. So that's what implementing GORP gives you. And now it's important that you actually practice this. And you want to develop muscle memory for this, because the more you have to remember, the more that takes willpower, and the more that's going to get tired out. So there was a time when I was skydiving. I really enjoyed it. Didn't do it for very long, but I loved it. And I remember the first day of training, everyone, myself included, like, I wanted to do this, but it's really nerve-wracking and hurtling down and traveling really fast. And so there were it was 4 or 5 hours of training. And what we did over and over and over again is, what do you do? How do you check your parachute? What do you do in case of emergency? And so it was just drilled over and over and over. We must have done it at least 50 times. It would give us videos, like you're looking up and you see, oh, my chute isn't opening, so I've got to deploy, release that chute and deploy my reserve chute, and then make sure that opened. And I don't think we ever looked at what happened if that didn't open. I think then it was just, okay, just pray really hard now. But over and over and over again. And so when I did get out on that wing strut and let go, and I did exactly what I was supposed to. I looked up at my chute, I saw it open, and then I just relaxed. So with GORP, it's the same thing. With implementing your plan, especially something like this, it's the same thing. You want to practice it, practice it, practice it, so when you get that feeling in your stomach, then you know exactly what to do. So hopefully, and if you do it the way that I've suggested, again, if you've got a plan already, please use that. But you can see how these different things that we've been talking about reinforce each other. And so you might have to try several times to get it right. And your internal resistance might win the day on occasion or often. And so if it does, give yourself a little wah, wah, shake yourself off, and then learn from what happened. What can you do differently next time? Or do you just need to try it again until it sticks? The point is to find a way. We human beings are ingenious creatures. So put that inventiveness and creativity to work. So tomorrow is the big day. That's when we sign up for my Career Design Studio and actually start doing career-related activities and not just these piddly little warm-up acts. However, I guarantee you that these past 3 days, they'll serve you well. So that's it. Go give yourself some GORP. Join me here again tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. And let's do a little celebration before we sign off. Yeah? Okay. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! All right. Good job, everyone. And as always, ask questions in the comment section. If you have been asking questions now, I can't see them because I screwed up somehow. So I will look for them later, and regardless, I will see you tomorrow. Um, all right, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.